The day started with Edith sitting on her bed, her face a mix of emotions and concern. She stared blankly at the mirror in her bedroom, her mind preoccupied with the court hearing for her 10-month-old son, Jason. Edith's eyes welled up with tears as she thought about the uncertainty surrounding Jason's paternity. She had been in multiple relationships, making it difficult to determine who the father was. Edith stood up, pacing around the room as she contemplated the possible outcomes of the paternity test. Looking at Jason, she felt a wave of guilt wash over her. Determined to uncover the truth, she quickly prepared for the court hearing. Meanwhile, Johnson, whom Edith had alleged to be the father, sat on a couch, dressed in corporate attire, his hands clenched together. He had been in an intimate relationship with Edith during the time of conception but believed they had used protection. He had also seen Edith with other men, which made him doubt his paternity. As Johnson sat there, lost in thought, his phone alarm went off, reminding him to head to the court. Edith arrived at the court with her best friend, who would testify that Johnson was in an intimate relationship with her at the time of conception. They took their seats, waiting for the judge to arrive and start the case. The judge, a stern-looking Nigerian woman, entered the courtroom and took her seat. She called for the clerk to bring in the case file. The clerk handed the file to the judge, who read it aloud. This is the case of Edith and Johnson for the paternity of 10-month-old Jason. Edith claims that if Johnson is the father, she wants him to take full responsibility, including paying child support. The judge turned to Edith to confirm her statement. "Is that correct?" she asked. Edith replied, "Yes, Your Honor." The judge asked further questions, seeking to understand the situation. "Edith, why do you believe Johnson is the father of your child?" Edith took a deep breath and explained, "Johnson and I were in a relationship, and we were intimate at the time of conception. That led me to believe he's the father." The judge turned to Johnson, who looked at Edith incredulously. "Were you in a relationship with her at the time of conception?" Johnson denied it, claiming they were just friends and had used protection. Edith's voice rose above Johnson's. "He's lying. We had unprotected sex multiple times when he came to my place." The judge observed Johnson's face, noticing his attempt to deny the facts. The judge then asked Edith, "Was Johnson the only man you were intimate with at that time?" Edith hesitated before responding, "Yes, Your Honor." The judge leaned forward, looking at Johnson. "Why don't you believe the child is yours?" Johnson explained that he had been away for some time, and doubted the paternity since Edith didn't inform him about the pregnancy until she was already 2 months pregnant. The judge took a deep breath, and Edith was asked if Johnson had ever been absent or didn't visit. Edith replied, "No, Johnson is lying. He was always around, and there wasn't a single time he didn't visit." The judge inquired further, "And why didn't you tell him when you were pregnant?" Edith explained that she didn't know she was pregnant at first and only found out a week before informing Johnson. The judge asked, "Did he sign the birth certificate or attend the hospital?" Edith replied, "No, Your Honor. He only came after a month, took some pictures with the baby, and asked me to post them on Facebook." Edith presented evidence to the judge, who curiously asked Johnson if this was true. Johnson admitted to taking pictures with the baby, but denied asking Edith to post them on Facebook. He claimed he wanted to observe the baby and see if he had any of his family features. The judge paused, then introduced a new piece of information. A man named Reuben, who had been traced to have had an intimate relationship with Edith at the time of conception, is here in court today. Edith lost her composure, unable to maintain eye contact. The judge asked the clerk to bring Reuben to the witness box. Reuben walked in, looking at Edith skeptically. The judge asked Edith if she knew Reuben and had been intimate with him. Edith couldn't deny it, responding, "Yes, I know him, and we were intimate." The courtroom erupted in shock. The judge pressed on, asking Edith if she had considered Reuben as the possible father. Edith explained that she had texted Reuben about the pregnancy, but he blocked her, so she didn't pursue it further. The judge asked Reuben if this was true, and he confirmed it, stating that he knew the child wasn't his. The judge then asked Edith's best friend to testify. She confirmed that Edith and Johnson were dating at the time of conception. The judge asked if there was a time when Johnson wasn't around, and Edith became intimate with someone else. The friend replied, "Yes, Your Honor. There was a time when Johnson and Edith had a fight, and I didn't see him for a while. But during that time, she started seeing Reuben." The judge shook her head, seemingly disappointed in Edith's actions. "There's only one way to find out the truth," she said, calling for the clerk to bring in the DNA results. The clerk brought in 2 sealed envelopes, containing the DNA results for both Johnson and Reuben. The judge opened the first envelope and read the results aloud. "In the case of Edith and Johnson, it has been determined by this result in this court that, Johnson, you are not the father." The courtroom erupted into chaos. with gasps and whispers filling the air. The judge then opened the second envelope and read the results aloud. In the case of Edith and Reuben, it has been determined that Reuben is not the father. The courtroom fell silent, with everyone stunned by the revelation. The judge looked at Edith, her expression stern. Edith, it seems you've been lying to us. Do you know who the actual father of your child is? Edith broke down, tears streaming down her face. I don't know, Your Honor. I thought Johnson was the father, but now I'll have to search further. The judge took a deep breath, her expression softening slightly. Very well, Edith. You'll need to take responsibility for your actions and find out who the real father is. I advise you to take a closer look at your past relationships and be honest with yourself and others. The courtroom erupted into a mixture of murmurs and gasps, with some people sympathizing with Edith's situation and others condemning her actions. As the court adjourned, Edith left the courtroom, determined to find out the truth about her child's paternity.